Good evening, everyone. I'm John Marie Marqueses. Last meeting, Sheila Marie Malaka discussed the old taxonomy. Now, I'm going to discuss the revised taxonomy. The revised taxonomy, after 45 years since the publication of Bloom's taxonomy, Bloom's former student Lauren Anderson and David Cratwell led a new group of experts to work together. The revised taxonomy of educational objectives. First, levels or categories of thinking in the old taxonomy were nouns, while in the revised taxonomy, they are verbs. The use of action words instead of nouns was done to highlight that thinking is an active process. For example, evaluate instead of evaluation, or analyze instead of analysis. Second, while the revised taxonomy remains to be in hierarchical levels of increasing complexity, it is intended to be more flexible in that it allows the categories to overlap. For example, some action words in the understand level, like explain, may appear to be more complex than the action word show in the apply level. However, when we look into the sixth level, from remember to create, we will still find the overall the taxonomy proceeds in a hierarchical level order. Third, the knowledge level was changed to remember. The change was made because knowledge does not refer to a cognitive or thinking level. Knowledge is the objective of thinking. Remember is a more appropriate word for the first thinking level, which involves recalling and retrieving knowledge. The comprehension level was changed to understand. Teachers are likely to use the word understand when referring to their work rather than comprehension. Synthesis was changed to create and was placed as the highest level. The cognitive domain now includes two dimensions, the cognitive dimension and the knowledge dimension. The knowledge dimension of the revised taxonomy was based on the subcategories of knowledge in the old taxonomy. The difference of two ta- the difference of two taxonomy, old taxonomy has one dimension, while in the revised taxonomy have two dimension, which is cognitive dimension and knowledge dimension. The revised taxonomy with two dimensions of the cognitive domain. First dimension is cognitive, which is have six levels. First level, remember. Second level, understand. Third level, apply. Fourth level, analyze. Fifth level, evaluate. Sixth level is create. For the second dimension, which is knowledge. First level is factual. Second level, conceptual. Third level, procedural knowledge. And fourth and last level, metacognitive knowledge. First, let's define cognitive dimension. The cognitive dimension includes the hierarchical order level of thinking. The thinking levels move from the simplest to the most complex. The levels are remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The first level, remember, retrieving relevant knowledge from long-term memory. For example, recognizing, recalling. The second level, understand, determining the meaning of instructional messages, including oral, written, and graphic communication. For example, interpreting, exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and explaining. The third level, apply, carrying out or using a procedural in a given situation. For example, executing and implementing. Fourth, analyze, breaking material into the constituent parts and detecting how the parts relate to one another into an overall structure or purpose. For example, differentiating, organizing, and attributing. Fifth level, evaluate, making judgments based on criteria and standards. For example, checking and critiquing. Sixth and last, create, putting elements together to form a novel, coherent whole or make an original product. For example, generating, planning, and producing. The second dimension, which is knowledge. The knowledge dimensions includes four knowledge categories: factual, conceptual, procedural, and metacognitive. The knowledge that teachers aim to teach and the students aim to learn can be about facts, concepts, procedures, and metacognitive knowledge. First, factual. The basic elements that students must know knowledge of. For example, terminology, specific data, and elements. Second level, conceptual. The interrelationships among the basic elements within a larger structure that enable them to function together. Knowledge of, example, classifications and categories, principles and generalizations, theories, models, and structures. Third level, procedural. How to do something, methods of inquiry, criteria for using skills, algorithms, techniques, and methods. Knowledge of, for example, subject-specific skills and algorithms, subject-specific techniques and methods, criteria for determining when to use appropriate procedures. Fourth and last, metacognitive. Knowledge of cognition in general as well as awareness and knowledge of one's own cognition. For example, strategic knowledge, knowledge about cognitive tasks including contextual and conditional knowledge, self-knowledge. For formulating lesson objectives, consider what level of thinking cognitive you want your students to achieve and also what type of knowledge it is you want to teach. When we write a learning objective, level of thinking is represented by verb, while the knowledge dimension is represented by noun. Consider this example. In the end of the lesson, the learners will be able to explain the photosynthesis. The word explain is an action word which fall under the second level of cognitive dimension, which is understand. The word photosynthesis, the noun, the noun that will fall under procedural knowledge, which is in the third level. Knowledge dimension. This table has knowledge dimension and the cognitive process dimension across the column. Learning objectives are placed inside this grid. The emphasis of the taxonomy table can alert the teachers about the areas of content as well as corresponding potential performance that have not been identified. You can also note that the knowledge dimension includes factual knowledge, conceptual knowledge, procedural knowledge, metacognitive knowledge, as well as the cognitive process dimension includes remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. For factual knowledge comprises a larger base of information that the learner will learn. It is the basic information that the learner must learn. We have two subcategories: knowledge of terminology, independent facts which have meaning and value of their own. For example, alphabet, name of fruit, and name of countries. Knowledge of specific details and element connected to each other. When these facts are connected to each other constitution constituting a holistic mixed structure of information. For example, nutrients which are required for our body. We know that our body needs fats, carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins for our growth. Those it is connected. For practical guide in using the revised taxonomy. In cognitive dimensions level, we have 6 level. First level is remember, recalling information, sample action word, recall, name, list, state, tell, reproduce, describe, locate, write, find, underline, define. Sample activities, recitation, worksheets, definition, fact charts, and list. Second level, understand, explaining information and concept. Ac- Sample action word, explain, translate, interpret, discuss, describe, define, report, predict. Sample activities, story problems, drawing, show, and tell, summary, paraphrasing. Third, third level, apply. Using information in a new way. Sample action words, use, solve, implement, construct, practice, execute, demonstrate, dramatize. Sample activities, presentation role, playing, simulation collection, model, scrapbook, product. Fourth level, analyze, distinguishing different parts of a whole. Sample action words, compare, contrast, distinguish, separate, investigate, differentiate, infer, sequence. Sample activities, chart, plan, questionnaire, spreadsheet, summary, survey. Fifth level, evaluate, defending a concept or idea. Sample action word, assess, appraise, debate, check, defend, decide, dispute, justify, judge, rate. Sample activities, opinion, judgment, recommendation, reports, self-evaluation, position paper, and critic. Sixth level, create, creating something new. Sample action words, change, invent, design, devise, formulate, generate, improve, plan, combine, propose. Sam- Sample activities, framework, model, story, multimedia presentation, poem, haiku, song, and essay. Uses of the revised taxonomy. The revised taxonomy provides a framework that helps educators in the following ways. It prov- First, it provides educators with a common set of terms and levels about learning outcomes that help in planning across subject matter and grade levels. Second, it helps in the drafting of learning standards across levels. Third, it serves as a guide in evaluating the school's curriculum, objectives, activities, and assessments. Fourth and last, it guides the teachers in formulating learning outcomes that tap higher order thinking skills. That's all. Thank you.